The bell over Park's market door rings like a little alarm. I'm halfway to the produce when Mrs. Park calls, "Lena, you left your tote last time." "Thanks," I say, and I turn, then stop. The corkboard by the exit, the one with pet-sitting flyers and piano lessons, is crowded. In the exact center, a single sheet glows under the fluorescence. "Missing," it says in block letters. Beneath, my face looks out. My mouth goes dry. The photo is recent. Last month, maybe. My hair is in the loose braid Caleb likes. The sunlight is that pale gold from the ferry landing at dusk. Only the name beneath it isn't mine. Eliza Hartwell, age 28, last seen near the Cedar Bridge ferry. "If you've seen her, call..." Someone moves behind me. The sheet trembles. I peel it off with cold fingers. "Mrs. Park," I say, but what comes out is a whisper. "Who put this up?" She squints over her glasses. "People hang all sorts of nonsense, probably a mistake." She plucks at the bright corner. "You want me to take it down?" The bell rings again. A man in a faded field jacket pauses in the doorway, clocking me, the paper in my hand, the way I'm shaking. He turns away too casually and drifts past the gum display. I fold the flyer into my coat and walk out with my tote, heart thudding. The street smells like rain and river. Above the boarded-up cannery, gulls wheel and cry. I press Caleb's name on my phone. Straight to voicemail. He promised me forever the night we moved into his grandparents' farmhouse. He said it while we were hauling boxes, out of breath and laughing, his hands still dusty. "It's you and me. This is home." I turn toward home and catch the faint whine overhead. A compact drone hovers beyond the power lines, camera eye glinting. It tilts toward me like a curious insect, then zips away over the gabled roofs in a shimmer of rain. I hurry, the flyer a hard rectangle against my ribs, every window reflecting me as if to confirm. I am here. I exist. I am not missing. Mini cliffhanger. At my porch, I shake out my coat and a tiny black square drops to the step, too light for a key fob, too smooth for a coin. It blinks once, like an eyelid. It's a tracker. I don't want to know that I know that, but I do. From true crime podcasts I shouldn't listen to. A locator tag, matte black, no logo. It fits in my palm like a seed of worry. Inside, I lock the door and set the tag on a saucer, as if it could stain wood. The farmhouse smells like lemon oil and old cedar. Rain thrums steadily on the porch roof. I lay out the missing flyer. Eliza. The phone number is local. The icon in the corner is a stylized infinity sign, the loop slender as a ribbon bow. I call Caleb again. Voicemail. I type, "Call me. Emergency." Then, "Please." A cupboard door thumps. The cardinals that nest in our lilacs flash past the window like warning lights. My pulse hurts. I grab my bag and the saucer and drive to the sheriff's station, where the flag out front flaps wetly and the sign says, "Welcome to Cedar Bridge, where the river meets home." The lobby is a lot of gray, linoleum, chairs, a humming vending machine. At the counter, a woman with careful hair asks, "Can I help you?" And I hear how City Lena would have been breezy. Farmhouse Lena has learned to fold her shoulders in. "I found this on my coat," I say, pushing the saucer forward. "And in town there's a missing poster with my photo but another name." The words tumble. I don't know what to do. A door opens. A deputy in a forest green shirt and worn leather belt steps through, scanning the room with a glance that seems to inventory exits. Windows. Me. I'll take it. He's not the model pretty kind. He's the steady kind. Dark hair trimmed short. Eyes the stormy color the river turns on windy days. Hale reads the black block letters on his chest. He tips the tracker into his palm without touching it skin to skin. "You found this where?" "On my porch. It fell out of my coat." "And the poster?" I slide the flyer toward him. He reads, brow tightening. When he looks up, something in his face is careful. "You're not Eliza Hartwell." My name is Lena Merrick. I moved here in June. My voice wants to fray. I hold it taut. Officer, deputy, he says. Noah. The name relaxes something I didn't know was knotted. Deputy Noah, my fiancé isn't picking up. I don't know if... I'm being dramatic, but there was a drone, and the man in the store... Okay, he says, a word measured like a board cut. We'll log the tracker and run the serial. As for the poster... He frowns at the corner. That infinity symbol. I've seen that mark on a different flyer last month. Another woman. Another missing person? A cold slip down my spine. Here? He flips to a fresh page on a yellow pad. We didn't get a report. The flyer came down before we could verify details. So someone put it up and took it down. Looks that way. He meets my eyes. Who would want to track you, Lena? Caleb, I say before my brain catches my mouth. My fiancé. Then, panicking at his stillness, I add, No, I mean, not would want to, but he could, he knows my coat. He's a perfect gentleman, Hale's voice is mild. We ask everyone that. I blur into explanations. The move, the farmhouse. Caleb's new heritage consultancy helping people trace family roots. We met volunteering at a museum gala. He told me about this town like you tell someone about a secret cove. You'll love it. You'll find your forever here. Forever, Hale repeats, tapping the infinity sign. He stands. Let me make some calls about that symbol. In the meantime, don't stay alone if you can avoid it. He's working late, I say. The way I default to his schedule shames me. He promised he'd be home by 7, then come back if he isn't. Hale's mouth tilts neutrally. And if you see another poster, don't touch it. Call me. Outside, rain needles my face. I tuck the saucer back into my tote and glance down the block. A teen in an oversized hoodie lifts a camera and shoots, the shutter click audible even under the rain. When she lowers it, she grins at me, quick and defiant, and runs. Mini cliffhanger. By the time I pull into our drive, there's a note on my porch. Water has puckered the paper, but the words stand up crisp as if printed by a machine. Forever starts when nobody looks for you. The farmhouse looks normal. That's the scariest part. The porch light buzzes with moths. The kitchen glows. Caleb's mug sits in the sink the way he left it, an eclipse of coffee ringed at the bottom. The note in my hand shakes so hard I have to press it flat against the table. I walk the house with my phone flashlight, bedroom, study, attic door bolted. In the back hall, the mudroom door sticks, then gives with a sigh, bringing in rain-cold air and the smell of iron and cut grass. Beyond the porch steps, the yard smears into the dark shape of the old shed. Caleb keeps it locked. Paint, fumes, and sawdust, he said once, laughing when I wrinkled my nose. I'll clean it out, I promise. I believed him the way you do when someone says soon. Now my fingers find the spare key tucked behind the fourth plank in the porch rail where he showed me on our first night. The shed door creaks. Lightning flickers far away, revealing a work table with neatly arranged tools, shelves built from reclaimed barnwood, and, my breath snags, a commercial-grade color printer bigger than the old dorm fridge in my freshman suite. The printer's lid is closed. A faint, sweet chemical smell threads the air. Beside it, in a tidy stack, lies glossy, heavy paper. I force myself to lift the lid. Inside, the rollers are dusted with a faint magenta powder. I know nothing about printers, but I know a thing like that when I see it. A machine that wants to be used. Drawer by drawer, I begin opening things. There are wood carving tools, boxes labeled with measurements, lengths of ribbon neatly spooled. In a cigar tin, I find carved wooden charms, small figure eights, sanded smooth, the twin loops married into a single shape. The rain hits harder. On the low shelf beneath the window are 3 canisters of spray adhesive, a craft knife with the blade snapped off clean, and an empty package for a GPS tag. Micro-tracking device, the English side reads. No logo, no brand. The cardboard insert is stamped with a small infinity sign, A shadow crosses the shed window. Headlights rake the far trees. My phone buzzes. On my way, Caleb texts. Storm delayed me. Home in 5. I put everything back, not perfectly, there's no time, and lock the shed. In the kitchen, I make myself breathe, clean the saucer, hide the carved charm in my pocket. When Caleb walks in, shaking rain from his hair, he looks so familiar and gentle that relief flares and burns out quickly, like a match. You're drenched, he says. What happened? I show him the flyer. I show him the note. He studies them with a frown that wrinkles his forehead in the pattern I know by touch. That's creepy, he says finally. Probably a mistake. Some weird internet prank. I'm so sorry you found it alone. Someone put a tracker in my coat. He straightens, surprise flitting across his face. A tracker? It fell out on the porch. I took it to the station. Deputy Hale kept it. Hale? He repeats, thoughtful. He called me about a fundraiser last month. Good guy. He squeezes my shoulder. We'll get to the bottom of this. You should call your mom just to tell her you're all right. I will. Can I ask? I try to make my voice easy. What do you do in the shed? He laughs, tipping his head toward his damp collar, Adam's apple bared. I told you. I'm trying to build you a secret. Now it's not a secret, fine. Don't go in there again. His thumb strokes the edge of my jaw. There's warmth in his eyes, and that hurts. You'll ruin your surprise. What is it? If I told you, it wouldn't be a surprise. He kisses my forehead lightly, almost chaste. Besides, the storm knocked out the back roads. You're not going anywhere tonight. In bed, I lie awake long after his breathing evens out. I want to believe the word surprise. I want to pretend the printer is for family tree reports, the charms are for clients, the spray glue is for making something lovely. I want to be the kind of woman who has never learned to recognize the shape of a cage. When I finally slip into dream, I'm a child again, dizzy on a carousel. Lights whirl. Music tink-tinks like tiny bells. Someone holds my hand and says, "Don't let go." Mini cliffhanger. At dawn, when I stop for coffee on the way to the library, the board at Parks Market is bare. The missing flyer is gone, and the thumbtacks that held it are arranged in a perfect sideways figure 8. Morning. The librarian, Mrs. Whitby, peers over the reference desk with the kindly distrust of someone who considers loudness a moral failing. You're early. I'm looking for old newspapers, I say. Local missing person cases. Gruesome, she murmurs, but wheels her chair to unlock a drawer with a key on a ribbon. We digitize some, she says, but not the community columns. Those you have to see to believe. I settle at a long oak table with a smoking tumble of microfilm like cloudy water. The town's micro-tragedies flick past. Parade winners, bake sales, an anniversary photo of 2 octogenarians holding hands like a promise kept. By mid-morning, my eyes ache. I lean back, and that's when I notice her. The teen with the camera perched in a window seat, bare knees up, black hoodie unzipped to reveal a t-shirt with a fox on it. She snaps a shot of me with obvious relish. Excuse me, I say, louder than the library deserves. Did you photograph me outside the station yesterday? Maybe. She doesn't lower the camera. She's younger than I thought up close. 18, 20, some small freckled constellation on one cheek. You're the lady from the board. The board, my tongue sticks. Why did you take my picture? You looked like a story. Her mouth curls, not unkindly. Everyone looks like a story. I sell to the tourist blog. Pays for lenses. What's your name? Sloane, she says with pride, like the name is a flag. Sloane Park. Mrs. Park's daughter. She fakes a groan. Don't tell my mother I lurk. Do you know who put up that flyer? Sloane's lashes lower. She studies the manual focus ring of her lens with exaggerated interest. There are lots of weird people in this town, she says finally. River towns are like that. Stuff washes up. I wait. She doesn't fill the silence. That symbol, the figure 8, I say. You've seen it? Maybe. Her eyes dart to a corkboard by the copier. If I'd seen it, it would be on the board of things that make my mother sigh. She hops down and heads for the door, light as a sparrow. At the threshold, she twists back. Don't go anywhere alone, she says. And don't wear the same coat 2 days in a row. Why? She lifts her camera and taps the body twice. Patterns, she says. People love patterns. At noon, Noah Hale finds me with a folder under his arm, damp at the corners. He sets it on the table and slides into the chair across from me, leaning forward so his voice won't carry. We trace the tracker to a reseller, cheap, hard to pin down. But the infinity symbol? His finger taps the folder. I found it on a flyer from last month outside a coffee shop on the other side of the bridge. Another woman, another name. No report filed. So someone is rehearsing? I say. The word makes my scalp prickle. Or practicing. Or scaring, he says. We looked at security footage near parks. We didn't get much, rain on the lens, but we caught a shoulder. A hood. He holds my eyes for a beat. About your fiancé. Caleb didn't do this, I say too quickly. Noah doesn't contradict me. He doesn't agree either. We'll need to talk to him. He says he's building me a surprise, I say grimly. Do you have a search warrant that covers ruining birthday plans? His mouth definitely tilts this time, but it's gone before I can name it a smile. I'll be in touch. He stacks his folder, glances at the microfilm machine and adds softer. You don't have to prove anything to me to be taken seriously. It's generous in a way that makes me want to cry. Instead, I nod and turn back to the parade of small-town everything. By late afternoon, the microfilm yields a short column about a woman who was rumored to have run off last spring. The line that sticks in my throat says, she was last seen crossing at the ferry, always a romantic spot for lovers. The word forever appears in the adjacent ad for a jeweler. Forever starts here. I look up and see across the reading room a half-open ledger on a side cart. The book's spine is cracked with love. Inside, in green ink, someone has written names. Beside each entry, a neat check mark. The front desk is empty. Mrs. Whitby? I call softly. No answer. I drift to the ledger, that small guilty current alive as if I'm 12 again. The first page reads Founders' Donations. It's a list of surnames, local, generous, but the end of the list is different. The ink is darker, the hand more precise. Hartwell, Eliza. No check mark beside it, no amount. The library door opens, bringing in the metallic scent of rain and the particular feel of someone watching me. I lift my head and see the man in the field jacket from the market. He stands with his hands in his pockets like a person would if they didn't want you to notice their hands. He stares at me not with recognition but with a slow curiosity. Looking for something? He asks, voice the scrape of gravel. I'm early for book club, I say, although it's not Tuesday and I've never been to book club. My face does not know how to not be polite, and my knees don't know how to not be stupid. Excuse me. I slide behind the stacks and out the side door into rain that tastes like pennies. I jog past storefronts and cut through the alley. When I catch my breath, I realize the ledger is in my bag. I don't remember picking it up. My fingers are cold on the leather. Back at the farmhouse, the shed padlock is snapped shut. Rain beads on the tin roof like fish scales. I climb the porch and wipe my feet, and that's when I notice it, tucked under the mat. A photograph. Glossy. The angle is low, the light gray. It shows my bedroom window, blind slatted, a slice of my dresser visible through the gap. Mini cliffhanger. Across the bottom, in that same crisp font, someone has printed, Eliza, Eliza, Eliza. Caleb. My voice leaps ahead of me into the house. Caleb! He appears from the hallway with a bundle of dry kindling in his arms, the good kind that holds a spark. What's wrong? I show him the photograph with shaking hands. Someone took this outside our window. Okay. He sets the wood down carefully, as if it were something you could break by thinking. Okay. He scans the yard from the kitchen window like a man who has learned how to check for storms. When he turns back, his eyes are steady. Lena, we need to call Hale. I already did, a voice says from the back door. I jump. Noah stands on the threshold, rain on his shoulders like a blessing kept out by manners. He holds up his phone. Your neighbor called in a suspicious person a few blocks over. Field jacket. We'll canvass. He steps inside at Caleb's nod, glancing at the photo, then beyond me at the hallway. It's not intrusive. It's a cataloging, a quiet architecture of where a person might hide. You two know each other? Caleb asks, letting the question hold all the other things it might mean. Deputy Hale took my report, I say, too formal to be natural. Can we show him the shed? Caleb's shoulders go fractionally tense. Then he exhales, a man making a decision. Sure, he says and pulls the key from his pocket. The three of us cross the yard like a play staged for an audience of rain. Inside the shed, the printer sits like an insult, its empty mouth shut. Whoa, Noah says, impressed despite himself. That thing could print a billboard. I use it for client trees. Caleb lifts the lid, snaps it back down. The little home printer we had kept streaking. And yeah, I do woodwork. You've seen the shelves in the den. What about the adhesive? Noah's gaze ticks to the spray cans. And the tracking device packaging? Caleb pulls the little cardboard backer from a bin. It's blank now, as if the symbol had never been. That? Oh, come on. Everyone's got tracking tags now for luggage and keys. We had one on the canoe. He bends to open a drawer, polite even as he bristles. Look, this is silly. If someone is messing with us, they're trying to make it look like I'm... Noah's voice is a measured bridge. Nobody said that. We walk back in silence, the edges of everything too clean. When Noah leaves, he says he'll run a patrol past the house tonight. He says it like a normal thing, like he's recommending a brand of batteries. But when his eyes meet mine, there's a steadiness that feels like a promise. I see you. I believe you. After he's gone, I call my mother. She answers on the second ring, breathless. Honey? Mom, I say, and my voice breaks, and I tell her about the poster, the note, the tracker, the way the town feels suddenly like a mouth, like I might be swallowed. Oh, sweetheart, she says. Come home. This is home, I say automatically, and then I hear the line echo with an ugliness not of my making. That night, while Caleb showers, I climb the attic stairs. The air is dry and the beams creak politely. The yellowed bulbs swing when I bump them, and dust turns to snow. The boxes up here are a history of other people's lives. His grandparents' holiday decorations, a stack of magazines tied with twine, and in the back, under a quilt, 4 boxes labeled in green ink E. Hartwell. I squat. The lids lift without any resistance. Inside are paper envelopes, a bundle of letters wrapped with ribbon, a small baby blanket embroidered with clumsy blue stitches. Eliza. There's a carousel horse carved from soft wood, the paint faded to pastel. When I rub it with my thumb, the paint warms, revealing a gold fleck in the saddle like a flake of sun. I hear the shower shut off. My heartbeat is a creature loose in my throat. I slide the box lids back into place, tug the quilt over them, and descend, the 3 notes of a lullaby trying to arrange themselves into a song in my head. In the hall, Caleb meets me, towel crooked around his neck, hair damp. He smiles the way he does when we make a joke neither of us says aloud. You snooped. I found boxes with Eliza on them. He blinks, absorbing and categorizing. He doesn't ask who is Eliza, as if he doesn't know. He says, I should have told you. The previous owners left things. I haven't sorted through all of it. But the baby blanket, I say. The carved horse? People leave the strangest things. He touches my cheek. You're cold. I'm fine. He studies me for a long breath. Let me make a fire. We sit with our feet tucked under us and the crackle of wood filling the pauses. When he takes my hand, I let him, and I try to decide if my skin is lying. Mini cliffhanger. Later, when I go to hang my coat, I find the inside seam opened in a neat line I didn't cut, thread sliced, lining peeled back, like someone made a pocket in my pocket. In the morning, the streets glitter with storm wash. I park by the station and walk faster than a person who is not about to ask a deputy to shred the future they planned should walk. Noah meets me with a coffee I didn't ask for. You okay? I nod, and the nod means no, but also yes, because I have to be. He leads me to a small office with a corkboard pinned with maps of the river. On the desk, his laptop waits, a blue square of paused video dominating the screen. We pulled footage from a storefront camera across from Parks, he says. Most of it's rain, but he taps the trackpad. The image lurches, stabilizes on the corkboard. A hooded figure steps into frame, face shadowed. The person is slight, their shoulders narrow. They glance up and a streetlight catches the shape of their cheek. My throat tightens. The chin is mine. The mouth is mine. Even the laugh lines I hate are mine, ghosted by pixel noise. The figure stretches to pin a piece of paper to the board. The camera catches a flash of the infinity sign. That looks like me, I say. I hear and hate the wobble. It could be a mask, Noah says. Or a projection with the right gear. The file is compressed. I can't tell. We're getting the raw footage. What if... The words are ridiculous. I say them anyway. What if I'm sleepwalking? Do you sleepwalk, Lena? No. But there was the mud on my shoes yesterday, the way the laces were damp though I hadn't gone outside, the small nothings that add up to a bigger nothing that could be a something. I swallow. I don't think so. Noah leans back, considering me as if I've told him I can fly. I think someone is trying to make you doubt your own feet. I breathe out, shaky laugh, gratitude stinging my eyes. That's a very kind way to put it. We found another piece, he says, sliding a photo from his folder. It's a close-up of a printed area of the flyer, where white meets black. There's a faint diagonal streak in the black, a magenta ghost. Printer defect. I'll bet my boots it'll match a defective roller in the unit at your place. I knew it, I say, woozy with how right and wrong that is at once. I mean, there is a printer. In the shed, he nods. I can't get a warrant today. I'm trying. In the meantime, be careful where you put your hands. I always am, I say softly. Lately. He walks me out, and on the way we pass a bulletin board with laminated pamphlets. One is titled Coercive Control, what it looks like. The bullet points are brisk as recipes. Is someone monitoring your movements? Isolating you? Undermining your confidence? I read the words the way you watch a storm track on TV when it's a state away. Outside, Sloane shadows me for a block, then sidles up as if by accident. You look like you saw a ghost. In a way. She makes a face at the sky. The river's high. High rivers make everyone weird. You told me not to wear the same coat 2 days in a row. Patterns, she says. People like familiar shapes. Makes them braver. For whatever. She glances around, then lowers her voice. I saw someone putting up a flyer last night. I didn't get a face, but I got a shoulder. Narrow. Like mine. Or like a dozen of the girls at the high school. She scouts my face, weighing whether to tell me something. You know the lighthouse path? Yes, don't take it. Someone keeps moving the trail cameras. How do you... I stop. You move them. She grins, unrepentant. Art project, her expression softens. You okay? I will be, I offer, palm open, the wooden charm I took from the cigar tin in the shed, just one as if it could be a talisman. Here, for luck. She closes my fingers back over it. Keep it, she says. You might need it more. Back at the farmhouse, Caleb is at the kitchen table with papers spread like cards. He looks up, pleased by me like I'm a visitor his day was better for. I'm taking you away this weekend, he says. Cabin by the springs. No phones, no town weirdness. Just us. After the storm? The bridge it'll be open by then. I'll call and check. He takes my hands in his, warm and sure. Say yes. The ceiling fan clicks. The refrigerator motor murmurs. Somewhere on the river a foghorn calls, low and long. Okay, I say, because I need space to think, and also because a part of me wants very much to believe that a cabin could fix what's broken. Okay, we'll go. He grins, genuine, relieved. And I think either he's innocent or he's better at this than I even let myself imagine. Mini cliffhanger. That night, I wake to a soft metal clink, the front door lock tumbling. A shadow moves across the hall. I reach for my phone and find only mattress. The phone is gone. The shape in the hall is Matthews from the volunteer fire crew. He holds up both hands when Noah's flashlight hits him, eyebrows flying. Back door was open, he says. Wind. It's not the wind. The wind does not leave the scent of someone's cologne on your stair rail or move the dish on the entry table 2 inches to the left. After they sweep the downstairs, Noah turns to me at the bottom of the stairs. Pack a bag, he says quietly. You're not staying here. Where? The word emerges like more than a question. It is a plea. More than that, a surrender. The station, he says. Storm will keep the streets empty. It's safe. Caleb follows us to the door, hand light on my elbow. I'll come, he says. Noah's look is professional. You're welcome to, but we don't have room for 2. I'll be fine, Caleb says, casing the front yard with his eyes. Lock up behind you. He kisses my temple. He says, I love you. I murmur it back and my mouth tastes like metal. The station is warmer than I expect, coffee-scented. The lights flicker once, twice, a storm hiccup that smooths itself into steady glow. Noah shows me a small room with a couch and a big map, a place that has held naps and tears. He takes my phone from his pocket and returns it to me like a medal. You dropped it, he lies gently. I don't correct him. I don't say I think it was taken and then put back, like someone practiced reaching into my life and letting go. Sometime past midnight, with the storm larraping the windows, Noah and I sit on the floor with the old ledger between us. We've found it holds two kinds of names. Most are donors. At the back, the ink sharpens. The handwriting shifts. The names are different. Women, mostly. A date next to each, a place. The last reads Hartwell Eliza, Cedar Bridge Ferry. The date is 5 years ago. I don't understand, I whisper. Is this a list of missing women? It looks like a list of women someone was tracking, he says. You're implying, I say, someone kept a log of his. Practice runs. I'm implying someone's even colder than I thought. He glances toward the frosted window. I think Caleb knows more than he's letting on. You don't like him. It doesn't matter whether I like him. Then you don't trust him. He hesitates. He's very nice. Lots of people are nice, I say, and the quiet hardens, brittle. Maybe he hears the crack. He adds, softer, I've seen nice men be very cruel. It's why I try to start with the data. I fold my arms. What do your data say now? That you're in danger. His voice is not dramatic. It's patient, like a teacher explaining an equation. It shouldn't be comforting. It is. The lights flicker again and die. The generator whirs, coughs, fails. Darkness settles with the weight of a hand. Back up, Noah says. He moves in the dark with the competence of a person who knows where the stumbles are. In the doorway, an emergency light blooms like a candle. The hallway beyond is a tunnel the color of fog. A sound cuts the hush, small and unmistakable, the chirp of a device finding its friend. I don't know, I'm holding my breath until I let it out in a thread, as if breath itself could trip a wire. Noah tilts his head, hunting the sound. It chirps again. It's not my phone. It's this. In my phone's Bluetooth settings, a new device just popped up. Forever. I swallow. That's what the unknown device is called. It's here, or nearby. I open my settings. The name sits there, benign as a fake smile. He takes the phone and scrolls, thinking with his mouth in a line. Whoever had your phone cloned a set of trusted devices. It's broadcasting. I move to the window, peel back a slat of blind. The street is a smear of rain. A shadow shifts in that smear, detaches, resolves, the field jacket man, head bare, face tilted up as if listening. Noah moves me gently aside. He keys the mic at his shoulder. Unit 2 requesting backup, he says, steady. Possible intruder, west entrance. He motions me into the evidence room, which isn't really a room so much as a big closet. Metal shelves, boxes, a cage door that latches with a shrug. Stay, please. He swings the gate and secures it with a click. It isn't a lock. It's a reassurance. I watch through the chain links as he walks to the back entrance, weight over his feet like a man who could lift most of a world. The door handle turns. He waits. The door opens on darkness like a mouth. He says, "Who's there?" A long moment. Then a breeze luffs the papers on the hallway pinboard, and the air smells like rain and river and a mistake just made. Mini cliffhanger. The emergency lights cut out entirely, and in the sudden black, someone breathes. Close enough to fog the wire of the cage between my hands. Lena? Noah's voice comes calm in the dark, a thread pulled between us. Count to 3 and duck. 1, 2. I drop as a flare of light slices the room, the beam of a flashlight passing, slow and deliberate, across the bars where my face was a moment ago. It moves on and the breath near the cage is only mine. Noah throws the breaker. The lights hiccup back with a weak buzz, stuttering in strips. The field jacket man is gone. The back door hangs open, rain stepping inside. Water tastes metallic on my tongue. You okay? Noah asks. I think so. I unclench my hands and find half-moon crescents dug into my palms. He goes to shut the door. The wind hustles it closed with a bang that pops in the quiet. The station clock chugs like a heart. When he returns, he puts a small blue bundle in my palm, my phone wrapped in a shop towel. We need to hard reset this. We'll purge the trusted devices. And, since the power is moody, his smile is quick. There and gone. There's a place downstairs we can ride this out. I follow him down a set of cement stairs to a basement thick with old Christmas decorations and chairs that are the wrong kind of ugly to be thrown out. In the wall is a second door, older than the others. The hinges groan when he opens it, and the smell that comes out is the oldest in the world. Damp earth and secrets. Bootlegging tunnel, Noah says lightly. Prohibition era. Runs to the library and beyond. How do you know that? He lifts one shoulder. I was a nosy kid. The tunnel is just high enough to be uncomfortable and just narrow enough to feel like a close question. The flashlight throws our shadows ahead of us, tall and slanted, and we follow ourselves like an echo we're trying to outpace. At the end of the first stretch, we find a narrow room with a bench and a drain. Noah sets the ledger down carefully, reverent, as if the pages are a map and we've been given a few inches more light. Let's see. We spread the papers. Patterns emerge, it's always patterns, when you let your fear step back for half an hour. The names first, the places, the dates. The faint pencil notes, almost erased, could be routes. Ferry, lighthouse path, cannery stairs. The symbol appears in the margins. Drawn in the impatient way hands draw a shape they've traced 100 times without thinking. Who would keep a ledger like this in the library, I ask. Someone who knew nobody would look. He scans the second to last page. Or someone who wanted it to be found at the right time. By me, I say. The thought feels like a hand gripping the back of my neck. It was out on a cart. It was waiting. Why you? Maybe because I'd recognize the name. Which name? I don't realize until I say it how much air the saying will take. Eliza. Noah looks up. His eyes ask a question, I nod. My mom used to tell me a story when I was little, I say. My voice sounds like a person talking to someone underwater. About a girl who rode a carousel and picked a horse with gold flecks in the saddle. The girl's name was Eliza. It wasn't my name, not then. But sometimes my mother slipped. She called me Eliza when I scraped my knee. She called me Eliza when I was sick with flu. And when we moved to the city after a thing I can't remember right, she said we would be Merricks now. She said it like the end of a poem. Do you think she changed your name? I think something changed. I put my fingers flat on the ledger. I think someone wants that name back. On the far side of the tunnel, we climb into the library's basement, a space at once familiar and not. It's dusty in the way of rooms that are less rooms than places to store ghosts. We're prying up floorboards when the upstairs lights blink like a Morse code we can't decode. Footsteps cross the reading room above. They're slow, then faster, then slow again, as if the walker is counting. Noah motions me behind a row of archival boxes. We press close enough that I feel the thump of his pulse in his forearm. The footsteps reach the top of the stairs the way a hand reaches a throat. The basement door opens. The smell of rain flows in, the scent of someone clean and damp and familiar. Caleb steps quietly on the top stair, voice low as a lullaby. Lena? I glance at Noah. He shakes his head minutely. Lena, are you there? Caleb's voice gentles. The storm is bad. Come home. My throat tightens. I could answer. He'd come down. He'd put his coat around my shoulders. He'd make me tea. He'd lock the door. Noah's breath is slow, deliberate. He is a presence, not a touch. He does not tell me what to do. Okay, Caleb says after a beat that feels like the length of our engagement. Okay. He closes the door and his footsteps recede. Noah leans close, his words a shape in the air more than a sound. We need more than feelings. We need proof. When we finally leave, it isn't through the tunnel, but the back alley. The rain has tired to a mist. Sloane is there, leaning against the brick like she's been there all night, which, knowing Sloane, she might have been. I have something, she says in a rush, eyes bright. But you're not going to like it. She holds out her phone. The video shows the side of Parks Market last night. A hooded figure moves into frame. The shoulders are narrow. The hands are small. The figure pushes a flyer up with careful fingers. The hood falls back with the motion, and the face that glances toward the camera is mine. Except. When I pause the frame and zoom again, the mouth is wrong. My front tooth is very slightly chipped. This mouth is perfect. And in the skin below the left eye, where I have a tiny crescent scar from a childhood fall, there is nothing. Mask, Noah says, or a silicone prosthetic. Cheap ones are everywhere online. Sloane's expression shifts from triumph to worry. I didn't want to show your fiancé. You showed Caleb? I feel stupid and tender at once. My eyes feel glassy. When? Earlier, when he was looking for you. She glances toward the lights of the ferry landing. He paid me for my file of town photos. He said he was trying to catch whoever is messing with you. Of course he did, Noah says, tired. Sloane looks from one of us to the other, reading things I wish I could arrange less messily on my face. Do you want me to stop? I think of her standing in the rain with her camera lens fogging and running and drying and fogging again. I think of a girl who learned how to use focus as a way to make the whole world feel less fuzzy. No, I say. Keep watching. Just don't be brave about it. She snorts. I'm always brave about it. Then be careful. She salutes with 2 fingers. Whatever you say, Lena. We watch her go, feet splashing tiny quick kisses on the pavement. The river in flood swallows the pilings and lifts itself to the bottom rung of the dock ladder. Noah says, I'm not supposed to say this, but you're not going back to the farmhouse tonight. He rubs a hand at the back of his neck. We can stash you at my sister's place. Your sister, I begin, but he's already shaking his head. She's out of town for work. Kitchen is stocked. You'll be safe. He looks like a man who doesn't expect his offer to be taken. The offer is simple and enormous. It'll be forced proximity, I'm told. He tries a smile, trying to turn a hard thing into a lighter one. That's what romance books call it, right? I can't help it. I laugh, and the laugh releases something in me that hasn't breathed for days. That's exactly what they call it, I say. Mini cliffhanger. My phone buzzes with a text from an unknown number. Eliza, it reads. Pack light. We leave at dawn. Attached is a pin dropped on a map. The lighthouse. We don't go to the lighthouse at dawn. We go to the kitchen of a small bungalow that smells faintly of cinnamon, where Noah makes eggs in a way that proves he's cooked for people who don't want to eat and knows how to coax them into tasting things anyway. His sister's table is scarred and lovely. In the corner, a plant leans toward light like it knows love's posture. The tech sits on the counter, radiating risk. We talk around it. We make a plan, because plans are ways to make the air feel less electric. Between 70 and 85%, Noah says, mouth pulling wryly. That's when most stories reveal their hand, right? You read? My sister does. I listen. He points to the ledger. Time to lay out everything we know. Out loud, we say it. We lay the clues like cards. The flyers with the infinity symbol. The magenta streak in the print, matching the residue on the roller of Caleb's shed printer. The carved figure 8s in the cigar tin. The note. Forever starts when nobody looks for you. The ledger in the library with Hartwell, Eliza, and the fairy. The footage of a woman with my face pinning the flyer, except for the wrong tooth, the missing scar. The cut seam in my coat. The tracker. The moved trail cameras on the lighthouse path. The baby blanket embroidered Eliza in our attic. Caleb's job helping people build family trees. His sudden weekend at a cabin, no phones. His closeness with Sloane since buying her files. The man in the field jacket who watches but does not talk. The door lock turning in the night, the phone gone and then returned. When the cards are down, the picture stands up. It isn't pretty, but it's precise. Caleb curated your move, Noah says. Got you to his grandparents' place, which holds evidence of your old name. He buys town photos from the photographer. He has the printer, the carving tools, the adhesive. He can make the flyers. His job gives him an excuse to ask anyone anything. He puts a tracker in your coat to protect you and creates a threat he can rescue you from. He wouldn't hurt me, I say. It's so automatic it feels like a reflex someone trained into me when I wasn't paying attention. Noah's mouth softens. Hurting isn't always bruises. I nod slowly. He's trying to make me look unstable, like I'm losing time, so he can— What? The words feels ridiculous, but they are the shape that fits. So he can take me away and no one will look. Or, Noah says, voice low, declare you missing while keeping you, so your life is not your own, and he can be the hero who spends years searching. Forever is a long time to own someone. In the ledger, the names, I say, and my throat works. Are they women he tried this on? Maybe. He turns the page to the neat slashes of the infinity symbol. Maybe he's one of several. That would be worse. That's a ring. That's too big, I say. That's a movie. So is a man with your face on a mask. We stare at the pin on my phone, lighthouse, like we can make it tell us who dropped it. The path is sand and scrub and wind. It's the place he took me on our first week here, the place he kissed me with river air in our mouths, and we wrote our names on a heart someone had carved into a railing. Forever, he said. It felt like a vow. It might have been a plan. The doorbell rings. My stomach drops. Noah says, "Stay," and goes. I listen to low voices in the hall, braced for every tone I know men's voices can hold when they want to create smaller space. Then the door opens and Sloane skids in on damp sneakers, cheeks flushed, hair haloed in frizz. She doesn't pretend she's not scared. She grips the door with both hands like a sailor in a gale. "I was wrong to show Caleb the video," she blurts. "He told me it was good I was watching. He said he's putting together a timeline to help you. But I saw his computer when he leaned away and..." She swallows. "He was editing a photo of you. He drew out the scar under your eye. He typed it. Your birth name." She looks at me. "Eliza." The room tilts. He knew. "He had a folder labeled Forever Project," she whispers. "He's been at it months." Noah moves to the window, gentle opened blinds. "Where is he now?" "By the river," Sloane says. "Talking to that hunter guy with the field jacket, the one everyone calls Beck." She makes a face. They see me and stop. "It's not just him," Noah says. "He's got help." "And he promised me forever," I say to the air, because sometimes you have to say the name of a spell to break it. Noah turns from the window. His face is set. "We do this clean. We don't get him to the lighthouse on his terms, we get him on ours." "How?" "We invite him," he says, "to a place we can control. We make him think he's winning. You send him a message that you're scared and want to go." I think about complicity like a weight my hands will remember. I think about the way he will smile, all relief, the way he will call me brave for letting him enclose me. My voice is steady when I say, "Okay." I text, "I'm sorry. I panicked. The station was too much. Can we go now? I trust you." I add the pin he sent me, let him think I'm following, and then I delete the entire thread and turn my phone off like a final kindness. 10 minutes later, my old phone, a matching second line Noah retrieved from evidence, set with a fresh number, buzzes. On my way. Pack light. His next text, wear the blue coat, the one with the cut seam, the one that now holds a new tracker, no doubt sewed with the care of a person making the thing that will tell him where the person he loves will be. "I hate that he knows my favorite coat," I say. "He knows it because he sold it to you," Noah says gently. "He recommended the shop the first week you were here." He's right. I didn't freeze because of shock. I froze because of recognition. Memory is a trick mirror we're told not to notice when it distorts the thing we love. The plan is simple in a way that makes my heart jam my ribs. We'll go to our lighthouse. He'll think it's the end of the trap. It's the beginning of ours. Sloane will be below with her camera and a borrowed radio. Noah will be on the footpath with a microphone tucked in his collar, all of it legal, all of it logged. "I hate this," Sloane says, jamming her hair into a knot. "But I'm good at this." "You are," I say. "Thank you." She flushes like she's been given a grade she cares about. "Don't die," she says with a shrug that flutters the corner of my eyes like wind. Working on it. When I step onto Caleb's porch, the rain has gentled to a mist that kisses the face like apology. He opens the door before I can knock. He looks at me like a person who has prayed and been answered. "Oh," he says, relief flooding his features, making him handsomer than he should be. "Thank goodness." He cups my elbows warm through the coat. "I was so worried. I thought you might have done something impulsive." "Like what?" "Like run," he says lightly. "And you don't run, do you?" "Not well," I say, and he laughs fond. He lifts the duffel from my shoulder. He's already packed his neat, organized, the sorting of a person who plans. "Let's go, sweetheart. The tide's turning. We'll be over the bridge before the river remembers who it's stronger than." He's not wrong. The river will remember, but not the way he thinks. Mini cliffhanger. In the passenger seat, I angle the mirror and catch his eyes in the glass as we pull away. They look soft, almost wet. He reaches for my hand on the console and I let him take it, and I think, you practiced this. You practiced being gentle so you could carry me farther without me making a sound. The road to the point is thin enough that the river's mood decides whether it exists. Tonight the river hums with a muddied confidence. The lighthouse's light rotates like a clock that forgot its numbers. Caleb parks by the rocks. Stay in the car, he says, and then soft, please. I nod, not trusting the shape my mouth will make. He rounds the hood, opens my door, offers his hand. I take it because the plan requires it, because my heart trader doesn't know about plans. You're shaking. He drapes his scarf around my neck, the same one he wore the night on the ferry landing when he said forever. It smells like cedar and something green. It's just us now. His voice is a spell. He is good at spells. We walk the path. The rocks are slick, and the scrub is full of that hiss plants make when they love the rain. The lighthouse door yields with a clank. Inside, it smells like salt and old oil, like a steamer trunk. The stairs up are narrow as a choice you can't unmake. He closes the door behind us. The bolt slides, metal on metal. He turns to me and the expression on his face breaks me because it isn't malevolent. It's radiant. He looks like a man surprised by how thoroughly he loves. We'll start over, he says, like he's ordering coffee. Small place near the springs. You like quiet? You'll paint. I'll keep us supplied. We'll tell people you needed space. I'll be the one who understands you. I always am. And I'll be what? I say, and my voice is very calm. Your bird in a room that has only a window drawn on the wall? He frowns, confusion genuine. You hate when people disappoint you, he says. I'm trying to save you from that. From them? From them, I echo. From the part of you that runs. He lifts a hand and cups the air near my face, stopping before skin. He always stops just before skin when he wants something. I'm offering you quiet. The world is so loud, Eliza. The name is a slap. I let it mark me. Where did you hear it? I ask. He blinks. Your mother. She told me. She was relieved. He'll keep you safe, she said. He smiles slow. People tell me things. My breath seesaws. And you wrote them all down in your ledger. Ledger? His laugh is gentle, but his eyes sharpen. I would never. Others keep records. I keep ideas. This is wrong, I say. You know it is. He tilts his head. Wrong is a word people use when they're not brave enough to do the right thing. We stand in the round of a room that has lived through more storms than anyone alive. The light rotates above us, sweeping us into view and then out again. Outside, a gull cries like a child. On the path, a twig snaps in a pattern we practiced. Then another. Then the hush of a person's foot on wet stone. Caleb goes still. He turns toward the door like a needle norths. Did you tell someone? I meet his eyes. You told someone, I say. You always do. The man in the field jacket. You want witnesses so you can be the hero. He smiles, almost indulgent. Easier to be a hero when there's a villain in the frame. His hand slides into his pocket, comes out with a small black rectangle that blinks once. You put a tracker in my coat. My mouth dries. You moved the cameras on the path. He doesn't even look abashed. You'll feel better when we're away. The latch scrapes. Noah's voice carries through the door, careful, official. Caleb Royce? Sheriff's Department. We'd like to ask you a few questions. Caleb's jaw flexes. He studies me like we're the opening and end of a story. We could leave, he says. Now they can't stop us. The water's high. It'll hide us. He reaches for my hand again, and this time I pull mine back. You hurt me, I say. Not with fists. With carefulness. The words tremble but stand. I won't go. Something in his face cools like glass. Not rage, it's more dismissive. You always make things hard, he says softly, marveled, like we're in line at a coffee shop and I've changed my mind about sugar. The door rattles. A second voice, Sloane's, says, bravado high as fear. You're on camera, dude. Caleb moves then, quick. He climbs, tugging me by the elbow toward the catwalk. The wind slaps us with wet. He herds me along the circular ledge, his body blocking the way back. Below the rocks gleam like dark teeth. Stop, he says, and it's that voice people use for dogs. Stop, or you'll fall. I'd rather fall on my terms than fly in a cage on yours, I say, and then I take the step that will either be very brave or very stupid. I swing my leg over the rail, find the maintenance ladder I remembered from a tour, 2 rungs down, a platform a yard below, a small metal square where keepers used to set tools. "Lena," Noah calls tight. "Don't!" "I got it," I say. "I don't." My thigh screams as a muscle grabs. My jeans snag. My sneaker skids. My chest hits the metal edge, wind knocked out, the taste of iron in my mouth. Caleb lunges, his hand catching my sleeve. For a breath, we are a physics problem. Weights, vectors, a pivot point. His grip is strong. He could haul me up. He could let me fall. "Come back," he says. There's true fear in his voice now. "Please." "Then put your hands where Noah can see them," I say. He hesitates, a blink, a flinch. It's enough. The slick of rain, the small betrayals of wet, the fact that he is not a keeper of this place but a visitor who believes he deserves what he wants. His heel slides. His shoulder bangs the rail. His hand loosens. I drop the last 18 inches to the maintenance platform. My ankle rolls, then holds. Noah's face appears above me like a sun should at the end of a long winter. "You okay?" "Define okay." Sloane's voice floats thin in the wind. "Got that. That was, oh wow, are you? Keep breathing." Caleb stares down, chest heaving, hair plastered, scarf dark. He looks baffled, then hears the indecency bereft. "I would have loved you forever," he says, almost tender. "I know," I say, and it's the saddest thing I've said with my eyes open. And that's what scared me. Noah reaches down with a steady arm, and I let him pull me up. His hand is warm and real and not a handle. Behind us, boots thump on stairs, words barked and answered. There is no fight, not really. There is only a man who practiced wrong things told by the weather and the cameras and the careful recording of other people's names that his practice is over. When they lead Caleb past me, he doesn't look furious. He looks like a person who believed the rules did not apply to him and has discovered that sometimes they do. He's soaked and neat at once, a paradox you could build an institution around. "Tell the story right," he murmurs as he passes. "Tell them I promised you forever." "I will," I say. "I'll tell all of it." Sloane's giggle sob hiccups over us. "That was the most intense opera I've ever seen," she says, breathless. 10 out of 10 would watch again, but also, please, never again. The lighthouse light swings, traveling and returning, traveling and returning. For the first time since this began, I let myself be still. Mini cliffhanger. Down on the wet path, Noah reaches for my hand, then stops like he always does a breath before touching. "May I?" he asks. Weeks condense and lengthen in the way time does when it's been stretched and then slackened. The papers run small stories. Local man questioned in coercive control investigation. Deputies pursue leads in flyer case. The word ring is not used. The word obsession is. The ledger is treated like what it is, a record that points at other records, a thread for careful hands to follow. Mrs. Whitby brings cookies to the station. Sloane's photos turn up on the town blog, blurred where they need to be, faces polite. She prints one and brings it to me, an over-the-shoulder shot of me on the catwalk, hair in a whip, the river below a streak of sullen silver. She has titled it Refusal. I was going to call it Girl Saves Herself, she says, but that sounded like a manifesto. I like manifesto, I say, and her grin is a celebration. I give a statement. I tell the story right. I leave in the parts that make me look foolish, the parts where I didn't leave when a locked door was enough information, the parts where a gentle hand covering mine made me mistake pressure for partnership. Noah sits across the table, not saying anything he isn't supposed to say. At the end, he turns the recorder off and says the first unprofessional thing he's ever said to me. "You did good, Lena." He swallows the old name like it is a seed that would sprout if he let it fall. "You did brave. I did scared," I say. "They are sometimes the same," he says. We walk to the ferry, because motion is the only thing that makes my body believe we cut new patterns into the town. People nod, eyes flick to me, then away, like they want to be kind and aren't sure how. Mrs. Park presses my hand around a bag of basil from her back garden and says, "You're strong," in a way that suggests that's a recipe ingredient she learned later in life. On the lost and found board by the ferry, someone has pinned a new header. Lost, trust, found, spine. There are photos beneath. Dogs reunited, a necklace returned. Sloane has hung a photo of the figure-8 charm I kept. The caption reads, "Infinity removed from circulation." At the far end of the dock, a girl in a blue dress sways to music only she hears. A boy holds her hand and points at the gulls like he's showing her something he's just discovered. The wind flips her hem, and she laughs the laugh people make when they have not yet learned how big the world is. I don't want to take that from her. I want the wind to teach it gentler. Did you ever think you'd be here? Noah asks, doing this? I thought I'd be a person who never needed to learn certain skills. I watch the river shoulder past the pilings, insisting, always insisting. Turns out I can learn. We talk about ordinary things, laundry, repairs, his sister's plant. He tells me one of the string lights on his porch has burned out, and it's bothering him more than it should. We laugh, the small laugh that says we will tend to the trivial again. It's the happiest sound I know. When we part at the corner, he does the thing that is now so him, I can't imagine I didn't always know it. He asks, "May I walk you to your car?" Like it's a privilege. I say yes like the word is a gift. A week later, under a sky as tender as the underside of a leaf, the county attorney calls me. There will be a hearing. About the flyers. About the ledger. Perhaps about the manipulations. There will be words like intent and harm. There will be always people who say nothing happened. I don't sleep that night. I make tea. I write the phrase "forever starts now" and then cross "forever" out and write "freedom" above it. I tear that sheet away, because I'm not a person who frames trauma as art. I am a person who plants. In the morning, I call my mother. We talk not about names, but about the way the light fell in our old kitchen in a city I haven't missed enough. She tells me a story about a carousel. She admits she wasn't careful enough with names. She promises to be careful now. I tell her I forgive her. I mean it. Forgiveness is a plant, too. When I hang up, I go to the community center and talk to the director about starting a support group that is mostly an art class where we paint the places we felt safe as children. She says yes like I've offered her a chair at the exact moment she realized she's been standing for months. That night, I return to the lighthouse with a can of paint and a brush. The carved heart is still in the rail. Our names are there, honest as spelling. I paint a small blue line through mine, then paint it again beside it, whole, not erasing, editing. I hear footsteps and turn. Noah stops at a respectful distance, hands tucked into his jacket pockets, posture casual, eyes careful. He has learned my weather. He reads the wind. May I come closer, he asks. Yes, I say, and I also say thank you, because not everyone asks and fewer still wait for the answer. He steps beside me and looks at the painted line, the corrected name. It's a good edit. I'm trying to be a clean editor. He looks out at the river, which is behaving like a pond, polite and glassy. Sometimes when it's this calm, I forget how strong it is. That's how the strong survive, I say, by pretending they're gentle until you give them your hand. He nods. We all have to relearn what hands can be for. We stand quietly. Somewhere below us, a fish rises and flicks back like a coin tossed by a wishful person. Noah turns to me. Can I? He stops, starts again. Lena, I like you. The simplicity of it knots my throat. I liked you at the desk with the microfilm and your hair a little wild and your eyes asking me to believe something that sounded like fiction. His mouth tilts. I like you more now. I like you, I say. I liked you at the evidence cage when you locked me in to make me feel safe. We both smile at that. I like you when you say, "May I like it's a magic spell you only use for kindness." Can I kiss you? He asks. Yes, I say. He kisses me like a person who wants to make sure I could name each step of the kiss later if I wanted to. This is the part where his hand fit a question at my throat. This is the part where my breath went into his. This is the part where our mouths remembered that mouths can be for building, not breaking. When we part, he rests his forehead against mine like a promise did when I was 19. Only this is different. This is a promise that does not bind but holds. Hi, he says and laughs a little, happiness making room in his face. Hi, I say back. It feels like the word home, in a language my mouth hasn't forgotten. Below us, the ferry horn sounds, one long note, a ritual that says, we're coming. We're going. We're here, and then there, and we will be here again. Mini cliffhanger. Behind us, footsteps scrape. We turn to find Sloane holding up her camera like an offering. Do not worry, she says, solemn. I am not photographing your mouth. The group meets on Tuesdays. We call it Found. People bring coffee in mismatched mugs and sit at a long table in the community center art room. We paint the places we felt safe when we were small: a yellow slide, a grandmother's lap, a library stairwell, a river rock that warmed under the sun exactly long enough to dry a girl's suit before she had to get back into her mother's car. I paint a carousel horse with a gold flake in its saddle. I paint it several times until the flake sits right, balanced, whole. The class laughs when I get it, the small cheer that is the most honest kind of applause. Mrs. Park hangs a sign near the door. Take what you need. Leave what you can. The corkboard beside it fills with small notes. You are not silly for staying. You are not wrong for leaving. Patterns are for quilts. Sloane signs that one. She is our official documentarian. She is careful with faces. She has learned to blur in ways that are art, not erasure. On the ferry, a new board has been installed. It's called Found. People pin photos of keys and mittens and dogs, but also words. Found wandering sense of humor. Found backbone under couch. Found mother's maiden name that I will keep because it's mine. The county builds a case. There are hearings. Some go our way. Some go the other. That's the world. It makes me love the pieces we can carve with our hands. Caleb's lawyer calls twice. I don't answer. When I'm asked to make a statement in court, I do. I say, this is how it happens. I say, these are the small ways a person can make you begin to misname yourself. I say, I refuse. The judge nods because that is his job. Noah sits near the aisle with his hand on his knee, not touching me, a place to put my eyes. After, in the parking lot, my mother holds my face and says, Lena, I will be careful. She says it like a vow. It is one. We are learning how to make promises that do not harm. Months pass. The river freezes and unfreezes. The farmer's market returns, and Mrs. Park arranges tomatoes in pyramids that look like math. Sloane has a small show of river photos. She writes the captions in a hand that looks like its own font. Noah and I make dinner and ruin it and order pizza. We leave the porch light on, and when a bulb burns out, we change it together and laugh at ourselves for how smug we feel. He teaches me how to check the weather more by the air on my skin than by the app. I teach him to spot the first brushstroke where a person has painted over hurt. Sometimes we walk to the lighthouse and sit on the steps and do not talk. Sometimes we kiss in the shadow of the old brick, quick and quiet. We don't write anything on the rail. The paint can is in my trunk, but we leave it. Some edits are for ink. Some are for action. One evening, the air hot with late summer, Sloane runs up with a poster tube. For the board, she says, breathless. The new one, found. We carry it to Parks. The bell rings. People look up. We're part of the town that is not a town meant to be a secret. The poster unrolls with a sigh. It shows the three of us at the top of the lighthouse steps. Me holding the paintbrush. Noah looking at me like entry. Sloane with her camera half lowered, a grin you'd recognize from 100 mornings in front of the market. The words underneath are simple because simple is strong. Found, a different forever. We pin it up with thumbtacks in the corners. We step back. The market smells like basil and rain and second chances. Outside, the ferry horn sounds, and we watch the boat nose in and bump the dock with the softest thunk. The river holds it because the river is generous. The town holds us because towns are people, and some people are better than you think they'll be. The wind moves through the lilacs and lifts my hair and touches the scar under my eye, the way you mark a place on a map so you can find it again. Not because you want to own it, but because you might visit and remember. Noah's hand finds mine, not as a handle, not as a leash, but as a way to make two pulses keep time when they're near. He asks without words, and I answer the way I do now, with both. He kisses me in the doorway of a grocery, among fruits and flyers and the sound of a bell. He promised me forever and meant it as a net. We made a different forever. One with doors, one with windows that open and close, one with a porch light that stays on if you need it and goes dark if you want to see the stars. We step onto the sidewalk. A girl runs past us laughing, her hair a flag. She turns to the boy running behind her and calls, "Wait!" He stops. He asks, "May I?" She nods. He catches up and doesn't take her hand. He offers it. She decides. We walk, the three of us, in a town that calls its ferries home. On the board behind us, the thumbtack in the top left corner glints, and the tiny figure 8 someone arranged last fall is nowhere to be seen. In its place is a circle, whole, ungapped, a shape that doesn't require you to fold yourself to fit.